and welcome to Issues of the Moment. Nigeria is one of the largest oil producers in the world, yet it imports a significant portion of its refined petroleum products. This situation has various implications for the economy, including increased costs and vulnerability to global oil price fluctuations. Economists and other energy experts are of the opinion that enhancing domestic oil refining capacity could transform the economic landscape of the country. Today on the program, our focus will be on areas such as challenges in the current refining sector, benefits of enhancing the domestic refining capacity, and exploring private sector and foreign investment, amongst other salient issues. My name is Justin Bemunye and I welcome you to the program. My guest will be all yours in a moment. Do stay tuned. Thank you so much for joining us on the program Issues of the Moment. Today our focus is on enhancing domestic oil refining in Nigeria to boost the economy. And my guest is the former Senior Special Assistant to Immediate Past President Muhammadu Buhari on National Assembly Matters and Niger Delta Affairs. He is Senator ENANG. Senator, thank you so much for joining us on the program Issues of the Moment, and we really appreciate you finding out time to come and have these discussions with us.
Thank you very much, and I welcome myself, and thanks for inviting me.
You're welcome. Let's start by understanding the current state of Nigeria's oil refining sector. Where are we now in that sector?
In a while, and for a long time, we're having exclusive importation of petroleum products, contrary to what it was before, when we had 3 operational refineries refining for Nigeria, and we were actually exporting some. We had the Port Harcourt refinery, and later the Warri refinery, and later the Kaduna refineries refining for the country. But at a point, and up to this moment, the 3 refineries are down, and they have undergone several turnaround maintenance, and it hasn't been good. By God's grace and the providence of investment giant Dangote and the NNPC, we now have the Dangote refinery fully operational in Nigeria, and is refining petroleum, diesel, and and kerosene, and soon going into petrol. But the one thing we have to do is to, as a country, take up the issue of the Dangote refinery not as an investment, and again I repeat, not as an investment. We should take it as a national security asset. Other countries take their refineries not just as a national security asset, but as their instrument of international economic politics. We understand the cost of landing is over 1,000 naira, and we were selling 600, 690, but as of this morning, I heard that the some depot are now selling it at 720 naira per liter. That's not confirmed, and I don't want to be the person giving credence to that. But as of today and some days ago, there has been several queues in Abuja and Lagos and other parts of the country, and the retail price has gone higher. I don't even want to mention, so as not to give credence. So it is the importance of having local refining of petroleum products cannot be overemphasized. Economy runs on the wheel of energy, petrol, electricity, and oil, diesel, kerosene, and other sources of energy. And if the Nigerian economy is having challenge, the government is having challenge, the party is having challenge, because when Nigerians are not able to afford fuel, they cannot move, they cannot get to the farm, they cannot get to their schools, the schools are not running well. We understand most teaching hospitals and hospitals are getting challenged because they can't run fuel. Most universities, like University of Benin and so on, are having challenge of running the university because there is no petroleum product, diesel and all that. So the domestic refining is it, and if not, nothing else.
Now, talking about the domestic refining, you just pointed out that some time ago we had like 3 of these refineries, indigenous refineries, up and running, but now all of them are no more. They're down. What have been the main challenges that have hindered the development of this sector of domestic refining?
I think it has been management, and then the management sabotage, and this sabotage has not just been by the instrumentalities of insiders. It has been by the instrumentality of international economic politics, because if your refinery in your country is producing, you will not be importing from the country, from other countries that are refining. And so the vessels that are bringing in the refined petroleum product will not be working. The vessels that are taking your crude out to those countries will not be in business. And the landing cost, the custom, the immigration, and the customs, the other taxes in those countries that fuel the economies of those countries will not benefit from you. And so the international economy, oil politics, make sure that your economy collapses. And sometimes, I want to apologize again, I'm going to something that is a little bit controversial, but I stand by it. Stand by it. Because some international financial institutions, like the World Bank and so on, they will want to give you loan to help you so that you can take some steps that they will tell you it will help the citizens of your country. Withdraw subsidy. Do this, do that, do that. And I want Nigerians to go back to pre-subsidy era. Although we were borrowing money for the subsidy, although we were doing other things that which were not very good, but how did our 3 refineries collapse? And why did it collapse? And how did the international technology community deal with the turnaround maintenance? How many times have we turned around, maintained each of our refineries? Has it worked? Are we not still importing? That is why I want to use the opportunity to urge Nigeria, not Nigerians, Nigeria as a country, that we should take some days ago I heard Dangote raising alarm that there is sabotage. 1, in supply of petroleum product. 2, perhaps technology. That's not very loud. And so Nigeria should stand up as a country. Africa should stand up as a continent and protect Dangote refinery. We shouldn't protect it as an economic asset of Nigeria. We shouldn't protect it as economic asset of the continent. We should make it as an national and international and continental security asset of the continent, not just Nigeria. Now, there is sabotage of not providing Dangote with crude. There is the sabotage of him not having enough. And if he does not have enough to produce petrol, diesel, kerosene, and the other downstream product, and does not have enough to satisfy the capacity, the total capacity to keep the entire thing running, it will rot. It will start getting spoiled section by section, and that is when it will, and it may, God forbid and God forbid, start having challenge, and we will not, Nigeria will start having problem. So Nigeria should stand up, and Nigerians, to protect and say whatever it needs for him and for that refinery to be permanently on stream. Nigeria should do it. It is not in the interest of the international economic community for Dangote refinery to work in Nigeria, because their refineries, what their refineries will produce will be feeding other places, and we may not be importing. And what we should do now is, we understand that Nigerian crude in Nigeria is not enough, and even the Nigerian explorers, those who are getting the crude from Nigeria, are not supplying to Dangote refinery, and that they had contracts, futures, that they have for other countries. I want Nigeria to come and hold a meeting with itself and find out how much of the loan that we had taken from China and from other countries did we pledge our crude oil supply in repayment for those loans. If we did pledge, whatever quantum we did pledge, we should renegotiate it, even if we have to pay some level of penalties, so that should be stopped, suspended, until we have all the oil, crude in Nigeria is supplied to Dangote refineries. And of course, we should do that now that the refinery is the only one working. We are turning around Warri, we are turning around Port Harcourt, and perhaps and possibly Kaduna. If we do not have enough to supply to Dangote refinery, where will we get crude to supply to Warri and Port Harcourt refinery when they start refining? Nigeria, as of today, if oil, refined petroleum product, could cost up to 900 naira, it is national security challenge. It is no more economy. It is national security, and we should take it as such.
Now, in light of all this we are talking about, if we can remember, the Nigerian government has, at several points, introduced several policies, aimed at boosting the oil refining sector. Talking about maybe initially, if you could remember, NNPC now turning to limited. We're talking about even turning around the already on ground refineries and other things. Can you highlight some of these policies and what impact have they had, or what impact do you think or see them having?
Well, we were told that Petroleum Industry Act will have greater impact. We were told that a lot of other measures will have other impact. Yes, I think it has had impact perhaps in different areas, but it hasn't improved the petroleum sector. I am not pessimistic, but I have been around mud for long in that sector, and I have advocated on this sector enough. And I've seen when it started and when it was glorious and how it is collapsing. And the pain is that the more you make, the more they make proposal that Nigeria should approve, the more Nigeria approve this proposal, the worse the situation becomes. So what is it? Is it like cancer? Even cancer, there is a reversal, a treatment that can hold on, So the more you do it, so what Nigeria should now do is that it should think of measures that it will get the international oil companies that are leaving Nigeria to Angola and other countries. We should have close relationship with those countries, so that as they produce, instead of sending it to Europe and the Americas, they should now be sending it to Dangote refinery and to Nigerian refineries. We were looking for refineries. Now that we have refineries, we are now looking for crude. What a paradox. Some people have shoes. Some don't have legs. Some have legs and they don't have shoe. Which one is Nigeria? So let us go back to these countries. And I want to urge the communities. I think we've been active long enough, because it is the activism and the challenge of the oil producing communities that has forced the international oil companies to go offshore. And when they produce offshore, you really can monitor how they send and where their vessels are. Because some of these offshore, they may be within the territorial waters, but you can't control the vessels that come to load. And so there are a lot of things that we need to do to make sure that we have these vessels here. I think Nigeria should also prioritize production from the marginal fields, production from the onshore fields, those fields and wells that were caught. We have enough challenge now that we should go and get them out. If you go to the Cross River Basin, you go to entirety of Odukbani down to the Abia area, down to the Ebonyi area, down to the entirety of that, Ibiono, Arochukwu, and down to the Bakassi area, on the Cross River end and on the Kwaibom end. A lot of that is filled with several cocked oil wells. The same has to do with Bayelsa, a lot in rivers. Now, it is time to to take even small quantum of this, develop, parcellate these marginal fields, give it to the small scale drillers, let them produce, and then feed the Dangote refinery and other refineries. Otherwise, the economic challenge we are going to have is going to be worse, because we cannot have a situation where we apply scarce resources to import refined petroleum products. As you import, you are feeding the ship, you are feeding the vessels, you are feeding the seafarers, and so on. And all these are passed on to the consumers. Petroleum science and petroleum sector is not rocket science. It should be the most simpler of all this, because we own the product. When we solve the problem of crude, we now have problem of refined product. When we have solved problem of refinery, we now have problem of crude. So we should reverse the situation, have conference with ourselves, and solve Nigeria's problem.
Now, all things being equal, let's talk about human capacity. What is the place of Nigerians, in regards to fully operationalizing this domestic oil refining? What do you have to say about Nigerian engineers in terms of capacity when it comes to refining, domestic oil refining? Where are we?
You have Nigerian engineers, very experienced, and you'll have situations where you have the international oil companies. They will take the wells, they will take the contract, they will take the allocation. But it is Nigerian engineers that will be working on that. They will just bring their men, the foreigners, to look at the, not much of the technology, but the funds, the funding, the outgoings. And so we should, as a country, I'm glad at what is happening, a little bit of the divestment, and I'm glad at the level to which Nigerian investors have also taken advantage of the divestment and then investing and being the owners. And they're also employing Nigerians and Nigerian engineers. So in addition to, and these Nigerian engineers, I pray they will be patriotic enough. They have always been. But let the investors also make sure that they use them so that we can turn around the fortunes of Nigeria. The economy of Nigeria depends almost a great extent on oil. So Nigerian engineers should stand up and should get the government to have more confidence in them. You have to work your way in and blow your trumpet. Let it be known that you are capable and that you have been the persons doing this job while the foreigners take the credit.
Before I let you go, Senator, let's look at the future outlook. Looking ahead, what would be your recommendations, for Nigeria to achieve a robust domestic, refining sector? What would be your recommendation?
Nigeria doesn't have problem of refining now. It has problem of having the crude to refine. There are other smaller refineries. There is the big refinery. The other big, traditional ones that we had, which we are turning around, and I want to urge Nigeria, if we have to turn around Warri Refinery again, or Port Harcourt Refinery again, or Kaduna Refinery again, let us not turn them around again. Let us build newer ones which are smaller in capacity and using new technologies, because they are using the turnaround to defraud this country, because they may not work for long. So let us just have the land and being thing. So let us get much of refining now, of drilling, and bring out the product more now, because we no more have the problem of refining. It is the problem of crude, and having the crude that we have taken from our ground to be available. Like I said a little earlier, let us also have the cooperation of other West African countries. Let us assure them that we will refine and send it to them as refined petroleum products. Let us go into certain agreements with them. I appreciate, let me congratulate His Excellency President Tinubu on his being re-elected as chairman of ECOWAS. And I pray that and I'm urging that we should use that opportunity of the ECOWAS leadership to also reassure West African countries which rely on some other countries in other continents for their refined petroleum products, that as we get some crude from them, we will be supplying them at a little bit of a reduced of some concessionary rate, so that we can have enough crude for our refinery, for our refineries, and the Dangote refinery in particular, to work and do everything. The National Security Advisor and the entire security system should not take Dangote refinery as the investment of Dangote and NNPC. They should take it as the economic armory of Nigeria. They should take every step to protect it. Because for the man to shout, and shout loud, I've said in another forum that Dangote is not a frivolous person. He always finds a way of showing, of getting his business done. What enough money cannot do, more money can do in solving his problems. But for him to abandon that what I consider a modus, and then raise alarm, it shouldn't be to the ears of the president alone. It shouldn't be to the ears of the consumers alone. It should be to the ears of national security institutions of this country.
Well, thank you so much for your insights on this critical issue, and it is now clear that enhancing domestic oil refining in Nigeria will go a long way in boosting the country's economy. I can't thank you enough for your time with us, Senator ENANG. Thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
Really appreciate.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
This is Issues of the Moment, and enhancing domestic oil refining in Nigeria to boost the economy has been our focus, and my guest has been a senior special assistant to the immediate past President Muhammadu Buhari on National Assembly matters and Niger Delta Affairs, Senator ENANG. This is where the program ends. Thank you so much for being a part of it. My name is Justin Bemuyene. I say bye for now.